Good morning. As the sun rises over cities and towns across America, a sense of uncertainty hangs in the air. Today is November 7th, 2025, and for many this morning feels different, heavier, more anxious. The routines of daily life continue, but beneath the surface, millions are grappling with a crisis that has quietly grown more urgent with each passing day. Our nation is now in the grip of a 37-day government shutdown, the longest in recent memory. Federal workers from coast to coast have gone unpaid for over a month. Essential services, those we often take for granted, are suspended or operating on a shoestring. The ripple effects are everywhere, in the silent hallways of government buildings, in the worried faces of public servants, and in the headlines that dominate our news feeds. But the impact of this shutdown extends far beyond paychecks and politics. At the heart of the standoff is a program that touches nearly every community in America, SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, better known as food stamps. For millions, SNAP is not just a line item in a budget. It is the difference between a full pantry and an empty one, between hope and hunger. SNAP is a lifeline for nearly 42 million Americans. It supports families with children, seniors living on fixed incomes, and adults with disabilities who face daily challenges. In every state, in every city and rural town, SNAP helps people put food on the table. It is a silent safety net, woven into the fabric of our society, often invisible until it is threatened. The shutdown has triggered a funding crisis for SNAP. Until just yesterday, the Trump administration announced plans to slash benefits by more than a third, a move that would have left millions scrambling to make ends meet. News of these cuts spread quickly, sparking fear and confusion. Grocery store shelves began to empty, and families wondered how they would stretch their dwindling resources. Imagine waking up to find that your grocery money, already stretched thin, has been cut by more than a third. For many, this wasn't just a hypothetical, it was their new reality. Parents skipped meals so their children could eat. Seniors rationed canned goods, unsure when help would come. The anxiety was palpable, and the sense of vulnerability grew with each passing day. Food banks and pantries, already stretched to their limits, braced for a surge in demand they could not possibly meet. Volunteers worked overtime, but supplies ran low. Families lined up in the early morning hours, hoping for a box of groceries or a bag of produce. The lines grew longer, and the wait grew harder, as uncertainty loomed over every household. The question now hangs in the air: will the most vulnerable among us become pawns in a political game, or will our nation find the resolve to protect its promise that no American should go hungry? As the shutdown drags on, the answer remains uncertain, but the stakes could not be higher for millions of our neighbors. Just as millions of Americans braced for a wave of uncertainty and hardship, the courts stepped in with a pivotal intervention. Across the country, families anxiously followed the news, wondering what the next day would bring. The threat of losing vital food assistance loomed large, casting a shadow over kitchen tables and grocery lists everywhere. On November 6th, in a move that sent shockwaves through communities and government offices alike, a federal judge in Rhode Island issued a sweeping order. The Trump administration was directed to immediately pay full SNAP benefits to all 42 million recipients by the end of the day. This decision was not just a legal technicality, it was a lifeline for millions who depend on these benefits to put food on the table. The judge's order effectively blocked the administration's controversial plan to slash benefits by 35%, a move that would have left countless families scrambling to make ends meet. For many, the prospect of empty shelves and dwindling balances was all too real. The court's decision came in response to a lawsuit brought by advocates and affected families, who argued that cutting food assistance would cause immediate and severe harm. In the courtroom, lawyers and advocates made the case that the stakes were nothing less than life and death for the nation's most vulnerable. The judge agreed. For those relying on SNAP, these benefits are not a luxury, they are a matter of survival. Every meal, every grocery trip, every packed lunch for a child depends on this crucial support. The court's ruling was about more than just dollars and cents. It was about preventing irreparable harm, hunger and suffering that can't be undone once it takes hold. The decision recognized the real human cost of policy choices and the urgent need to protect those at risk of going without. In this moment, the judiciary served as a crucial check on political power, stepping in when other branches failed to safeguard basic human needs. The ruling was a powerful reminder that the courts can be a last line of defense for the most vulnerable among us. For millions of Americans, the court's order was more than just a legal victory, it was hope restored, a sense of relief, and a chance to breathe a little easier, at least for now. Why did the Trump administration plan these cuts? They argued it was about managing limited resources during the shutdown. The USDA claimed it had run out of SNAP funding and tried to stretch what remained, first proposing a 50% cut, then 35%. The administration said their hands were tied by law, blaming Senate Democrats for blocking a funding bill. They framed the cuts as a forced, responsible choice, not a political one. Critics, however, questioned both the necessity and the motives behind such drastic reductions. The administration insisted it was about fiscal responsibility, even as families faced devastating consequences. Judge McConnell didn't just disagree, he delivered a scathing rebuke. He pointed to a $23 billion reserve fund, noting only $4 billion was needed to cover SNAP for November. The judge accused the administration of using hunger as a political weapon, not a fiscal necessity. He cited a social media post from President Trump as evidence of intent to withhold benefits for leverage. The ruling was clear. The government cannot use basic needs as bargaining chips. Judge McConnell's decision was both a legal and moral stand. No American should go hungry for political gain. The court's decision sparked fierce debate in Washington. Democrats called it a victory for compassion, condemning the administration's appeal as cruel. Senator Patty Murray called the move to fight the order as ugly and cruel as it gets. Democrats noted Republicans controlled Congress and the White House, yet blamed Democrats for the shutdown. Republicans, led by Vice President J.D. Vance, called the ruling absurd, arguing the president must manage finances during a crisis. Both sides traded blame, each claiming the other was responsible for the impasse. Lost in the crossfire, 42 million Americans unsure if they'd have food next week. The political war raged on, with real lives hanging in the balance. To understand the stakes, consider what SNAP means. It's not just a program, it's a lifeline for millions of Americans who struggle to put food on the table every day. Imagine the anxiety of not knowing where your next meal will come from, or the stress of having to choose between paying for groceries or other essential bills. SNAP is America's largest anti-hunger program, helping 42 million people, working parents, seniors, people with disabilities, and families in crisis. It's a crucial support system that ensures no one has to go hungry in a country of such abundance. 16 million children rely on SNAP. For them, it's the difference between a meal and hunger. These children are our future, and ensuring they have enough to eat is an investment in a healthier, more prosperous society. The benefits are modest. A single person might get $298 a month, a family of two up to $540. While these amounts may seem small, they can make a significant difference in the lives of those who receive them, helping to stretch limited budgets just a bit further. Cuts would mean losing over $100 a month for individuals, even more for families, forcing impossible choices. Imagine having to decide between buying enough food or paying for medicine, rent, or utilities. These are the harsh realities many face. Judge McConnell's order recognized SNAP as a pillar of our social safety net. This legal acknowledgement underscores the importance of the program in maintaining the well-being of millions. The court reaffirmed that access to food is a basic human need, not a political bargaining chip. This ruling was a significant step in ensuring that the most vulnerable among us are protected. For millions, SNAP is stability in uncertain times. It provides a sense of security, knowing that no matter what happens, there will be food on the table. The ruling was a powerful reminder. Protecting the vulnerable is a core American value. It's a testament to our collective commitment to ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to thrive, regardless of their circumstances. Behind the numbers are real families. A 35% SNAP cut means a single mom might skip meals so her kids can eat, or a senior might choose between groceries and medicine. These aren't hypotheticals, they're daily realities for millions. Children's health and development are at risk. Seniors face impossible choices. The stress of food insecurity can ripple into housing instability and poor health. The court's decision protected not just food, but a measure of stability for families on the brink. Without SNAP, the consequences would be immediate and severe. The ruling gave families a fighting chance to weather the storm. The crisis didn't just hit families, it strained states and communities. States faced a logistical nightmare. Reprogramming systems for sudden cuts would take weeks, delaying payments and deepening the crisis. Food banks and charities, already stretched thin, braced for overwhelming demand they couldn't meet. SNAP dollars support local economies. Every dollar spent generates $1.50 in economic activity. Cuts would have hurt not just recipients but grocery stores, workers, and entire communities. The judge called the plan not just cruel, but chaotic and impractical. The social safety net was at risk of collapse. The proposed cuts threatened to unravel support systems nationwide. Despite the judge's order, uncertainty remains. The Trump administration appealed, leaving 42 million Americans in limbo. Will full benefits arrive on time, or will legal wrangling cause delays? Even a short delay could mean families run out of food. The shutdown's impact goes beyond SNAP. Air travel, safety, and more are at risk. The nation faces tough questions. What do we owe each other? Should basic needs be political leverage? For now, millions hope compassion and common sense will prevail.